Good morning, children. Here we are into our 8th chapter, that is, Why I Don't Wear Earrings. So, here is a topic about a person who does not like to wear earrings, and she is also telling the reason why she doesn't want to wear earrings. When you ask me a question, who likes to wear earrings? Obviously, it is all the girls. They love wearing variety of earrings. And if you look into the mobiles, you can find variety of earrings in you can see in your YouTubes and hereafter, isn't it? Yes. But also when you look at the girls, then they are going for any parties or any function or any occasion, we can see each person is having a variety of earrings in their ears, and there is a intention of wearing these earrings also, looking themselves beautiful, isn't it? Yes, at the same time, we find certain boys also wearing one earring in their ears, isn't it? Yes. So, why is this earrings been worn? And what is the problem with this girl? She doesn't want to wear earrings. Let us see into the chapter. As I always keep telling you, as I read through the lesson, I want you to follow me line by line. Here it says, an autobiography is a story of a person's life written by that person. Yes, obviously, isn't it? So, if the same person is writing his own story, one person who is writing his own story means that becomes a autobiography. Or if another person is telling about you, then it becomes a biography. Like Rabindranath Tagore writing about Mahatma Gandhi ji. So it becomes a biography of Mahatma Gandhi ji is written by Rabindranath Tagore. Isn't it? Yes, that becomes a biography. But if Gandhi ji writes his own story, it becomes a autobiography. So we have to understand here, autobiography is a story of a person's life written by the same person. And the person from whose point of view the story is told is called the narrator. If the person is telling his own story and from his thought, what is happening from his thought, then the writer becomes the narrator. So here it is a story taken from a girl's autobiography. Okay, this is a girl's autobiography. From that story, from that autobiography, the small story is being taken. So let me read through the lesson and now you follow me as I read. By the age of 7, I was used to being top of my class. I was the one who would help other pupils who had difficulties. Malala is a genius girl, my class fellows would say. I was also known for participating in everything: badminton, drama, cricket, art, even singing, though I wasn't very good. So here she says the name of the girl is Malala, and by the age of 7 she was the topper of the class. If you say age of 7, she would be somewhere in first standard. Okay, by the class of first standard she was a topper, and she used to participate in badminton, drama, cricket, art, and sometimes singing also. By the singing means she says, I was not so good in singing, but still I used to participate because participation is more important than winning. And she was loved by all her classmates, that because she used to help everybody whoever was in difficulty. Second para. So when a new girl named Malka-e-Noor joined our class, I didn't think anything of it. Her name means Queen of Light, and she said she wanted to be Pakistan's first female army chief. Her mother was a teacher at a different school. which was unusual as none of her mothers worked. To begin with, she didn't say much in class. The competition was always between me and my best friend, Moniba, who had beautiful writing and presentation, which the examiner liked, but I knew I could beat her on content. So when we did the end of the year exam and Malka-e-Noor came first, I was shocked. At home, I cried and cried and had to be comforted by my mother. So here it says, so a new girl had come to their school. What is the name of the girl? It is Malka-e-Noor. So when she came to the school, and the meaning of her name is Queen of Light. And she said it seems her ambition is to become the first chief army. Okay, then usually they don't take girls in the army team. So she says, I want to be the first army chief in Pakistan. And here her mother was working in some other school. Okay, and this here Malala says that it was completely unusual from other mothers' work, which means to say none of the mothers were working in such a school where such type of work is being given. And we don't know actually what is the work given there, but still it is from the point of view of Malala. And she says that made nothing as a difference. Just because Malka-e-Noor came to that school, that didn't make any difference for them, because the competition was always between Malala and Moniba. And here Moniba is the best friend of Malala. Okay, so why? Because they had competition, because Moniba was having a beautiful handwriting. So whoever, any teacher, when they look into the beautiful handwriting, obviously they will give some good marks for the good handwriting, isn't it? Yes, same like that only. Even Moniba was having a very good handwriting, because of what? She used to get more marks. And here Malala says, I knew that though she is having a very good handwriting, I have good content. Content means the matter what I write in the exams are better than hers, so I can beat her up. So this was the concept of Malala. But what happened when they finished that year, that is the first standard maybe, the end of the year, Malka-e-Noor got first rank. So obviously these two would have got shocked. Okay, Malala and Moniba. How come this girl has got the first rank? And she couldn't express anything in the class. When she went home, she cried and cried lot in front of her mother. Then what else the mother can do? Mother just said her some convincing matter and she would have comforted her. Isn't it? Around that time, we moved away from where we had been living on the same street as Moniba to an area where I didn't have any friends. On our new road, there was a girl called Safina who was younger than me, and we started to play together. She was a pampered girl who had lots of dolls and shoebox full of jewelry. But she kept eyeing the pink plastic pretended mobile phone my father had bought me, which was the one of the few toys I had. But my father was always talking on his mobile, so I loved to copy him and pretend to make calls on mine. One day it disappeared. So here she says, at the same time when their exams were over and she was in a bit tension that she had not got the first rank, at the same time they had to shift their house, okay, from the which street they were living to an other street. Okay, usually first she was in the street where Moniba was there, and now they had to move to an other street where she didn't have any friends at all. Okay, slowly she had got one more friend there, The name of that girl is Safina, and this Safina is younger than Malala. Though she was younger than her, she had to any friend, right? So in that half, what she did, she started playing with the same girl, who is that Safina. Now she's describing about Safina, saying that Safina had lots of dolls in her house, okay, and a shoebox full of jewelry. This happens with girls, isn't it? When they have some new bangles and in a new shoebox, they remove the shoe from the box and they fill that shoebox full of bangles or earrings or any other chains or something, whatever they have at the jewelry packets, everything they fill it in the shoe box and they try to keep it safe. Here also Safina had same thing. Lots of dolls also she had to play, and also she had a shoe box full of jewelry. In spite of that, her eye was on a plastic pink mobile. You would have seen in most of the fairs we get that mobile. Like when you press on that one button, you get some songs in that plastic pink mobile, like a Barbie set it would be. Yes, that mobile she was having, which her father had bought for her. Whom? Malala. Why? Because Malala's father used to talk on the phone, that is mobile phone always, because maybe based on his work. And she wanted to pretend her father. So to pretend that she had got for this mobile. And what she used to do to show her pretendingness, she used to make calls to her friends, saying that just keep in your ear and say, hi friend, how are you, something, whatever you tell. Yes, and she says one day it disappeared. A few days later, I saw Safina playing with the phone exactly the same as mine. Where did you get that? I asked. I bought it in the bazaar, she said. I realized now she could have been telling the truth, but back then I thought, she is doing this to me and I will do the same to her. I used to go to her house to study, so whenever I was there, I would pocket her things, mostly toy jewelry like earrings and necklace. It was easy. At first, stealing gave me a thrill, but that did not last long. Soon it became a compulsion. I did not know how to stop. So here what happened? She had already lost that phone. Okay, after a few days, she saw Safina playing with that same mobile. Okay, and she didn't know whether what is that mobile, is it hers or Safina's. So she went to Safina to ask, where did you get this mobile? So what did Safina answer her? She said, I bought it from the bazaar. But she could know that that is her own mobile. Yes. Now what she started doing, okay, she has taken my mobile now, I am going to take something else from her. This is what she told in her mind. And what she did, usually she used to go to Safina's house to study, it seems. So there what she did, she often started picking something from her jewelry box, maybe sometimes earrings or sometimes necklace. And she says stealing was very easy and it gave a lot of thrill. So it became a habit for her, stealing and seeing that nobody sees her, and she started enjoying that time. And as she continued doing this, it became a habit for her where she could not stop doing that. So every day whenever she went to Safina's house, she could not stop that habit. It became a habitual for her. And she says, one afternoon I came home from school and rushed into the kitchen as usual for a snacks. Hello, Barbie, I called. I'm starving. There was silence. My mother was sitting on the floor pounding spices, brightly colored turmeric and cumin, filling the air with their aroma. Over and over she pounded. Her eyes would not meet mine. What had I done? I was very sad and went into my room. So here what happened? One day she had gone to the school, and when she was returning from the school, she had a habit of running into the kitchen to find out what mummy has made there. As she went into the kitchen, she found nobody there. She said, "Mummy, I'm hungry." She came there, but she saw her mother pounding something, that is making some powder there, and it was turmeric and some flavor that is coming. So as she was powdering, that the aroma, that is the smell, was flying in the air. Though she was standing near her, her mother didn't speak anything. Because her mother didn't speak anything, she was a little upset. And what she did, she went sad, and she just went into her room. Okay. When I opened my cupboard, I saw that all the things I had taken were gone. I had been caught. My cousin Reena came into my room. "They knew you were stealing," she said. "They were waiting for you to come clean, but you just kept on." Okay, what happened here is, so she went into her room and she opened the cupboard to see what had happened. So she could know that all the things that she has stolen there, no, everything she kept in the cupboard, and all that things were missing. That means she came to know that they have caught hold of her. And immediately her cousin, her name was Reena, this girl, she came into the room and she's telling to Malala, saying that everybody came to know that you were stealing, okay, and they wanted you to go and tell to them what had happened, but you didn't do that. Instead of that, you were keep on doing the same. I felt a terrible sinking feeling in my stomach. I walked back to my mother with my head bowed. What you did was wrong, Malala," she said. "Are you trying to be shame on us that we can't afford to buy such things? Is it not true?" I lied. I didn't take them, but she knew I had. So here what happened? When Reena came and told to Malala that everybody came to know that whatever you have stole, mummy has come to know. So what she felt, she had a sinking feeling that something was very, very bad in her stomach. You feel that, no? Something when you do wrong? Yes, the same feeling was there with Malala also. So with a head bowed down with the shame, she went back to her mother. So now mother is telling, what you did is wrong, Malala. And did you think that I didn't have any money to buy for you all those things? Because of that you went and stole from her house? And here Malala is telling, no mummy, that is not true. I didn't take anything from her. I didn't steal anything. But everybody knew that she has stolen from her. Safina started it. I protested. She took the pink phone that Abba bought me. My mother was unmoved. Safina is younger than you and you should have taught her better, she said. You should have set an example. Obviously, yes, isn't it, children? So, mummy is telling to Malala that Malala started telling mummy that, mummy, I didn't do this, but Safina started. Instead, she took my phone, whatever I had, which my father had bought. That is Abba, she says here. Abba means father. What father had bought me, she had taken. To as a revenge, I started taking from her. That was she told. Okay. But mother is telling, Safina is younger than you. You should have told her stealing is very bad. Instead, how did you do this? You should have been a example for her in teaching her. Instead, what does you have done it here? I started crying and apologized over and over again. Don't tell Abba, I begged. I couldn't bear for him to be disappointed in me. It's a horrible to feel unworthy in the eyes of your parents. Here what happens is, So she was very much worried and she started crying loud and telling that don't tell to Abba, that don't tell father that I have done this. And I feel she obviously, right, when fathers and mothers come to know that you have done something wrong, when you have to face them with a guilty feel, it is very much horrible, isn't it? And she also wanted to be the same, and moreover she was a topper and she was a scoring student, and all the good qualities whatever was required, everything was there in her. And such a girl doing a bad thing, obviously it will hurt everybody, and she also didn't want to do that. So it wasn't the first time. When I was little, I went to the bazaar with my mother and spotted a pie of almond on the cart. They looked so tasty that I couldn't resist grabbing a handful. My mother told me off and apologized the cart owner. He was furious and would not be placed. We still had little money, and my mother checked her purse to see what she had. Can you sell them to me for 10 rupees? She asked. No, he replied. Almonds are very costly. So she says here, this was not the first time what had happened. Like this, it had happened before also. What had happened? So she and Malala and her mother had been to the bazaar, okay, where she found a piece of almond on a sheet. It was potted on the cart, and she took a piece and she started eating. And after eating one piece, what happened? She found it more and more tasty. So what she did, she grabbed a handful of almonds. Usually almonds are costly. So what she could do, her mother, she scolded her and gave an apology. She asked sorry for the cart owner, that is the seller of almonds, and he was little angry and he started scolding her maybe. So because of that, mother was little panic. And here what happened, now her Malala's mother, she started searching her purse to see how much money she had, and she asked the cart owner that can he sell that almonds for 10 rupees. So but he said that no, I cannot sell it for 10 rupees because almonds are costly. My mother was very upset and told my father. He immediately went and bought the whole lot from the man and put them in the glass dish. So here what happened? So when mother came home, she was upset that he couldn't sell it for 10 rupees. Na? So what mother did? Mother told to father. Father got more angry. Father immediately went to the bazaar. He bought the whole box full of almonds and he put it in the glass dish so that whenever daughter wants, she can take and eat. Almonds are good, he said. If you eat them with milk just before bed, it makes you brainy. But I knew he didn't have much money, and the almonds in the dish were a reminder of my guilt. I promised myself I didn't never do such a thing again, and now I had. My mother took me to say sorry to Safina and her parents. It was very hard. Safina said nothing about my phone, which didn't seem fair, but I didn't mention it either. So here she says, when father bought a glass full of almonds and put it in a glass dish, her father is telling to the daughter saying that almonds are very good for health. Before going to bed, if you have that almonds with milk, you will become more brainy. That means you will have lots of intelligence. And what she says, I knew that father didn't have so much of money to bring a one box full of almonds, but he has bought means it shows that I am guilty of myself. I should have asked my parents to buy it for me instead of taking from the cart owner. And this will remind me. And she that very day she promised to herself saying that never I will do it like this. Okay, but now she has done the same thing once again. So in this half, she didn't want to tell her father that she is guilty about this work. So what mother has done? Mother has taken Malala to Safina's house to take her to mention her sorry. Okay, she went along with her mother, and in front of Safina and Safina's parents, she said sorry. After telling sorry, she feels that I told sorry, but Safina didn't tell anything about the phone. She didn't tell anything about the phone that she has stolen. That is not good. My parents did ask me to apology for my mistake, but her parents did not allow her to do that, no? So she felt bad. And she says, I didn't also talk anything about my phone there. Though I felt bad, I was also relieved it over. Since that day, I have either laid or stolen neither a single lie nor a single penny. Not even the coins my father leaves around the house, which weren't allowed to buy snacks with. I also stopped wearing jewelry because I asked myself, what are these baubles which tempt me? Why should I lose my character for a few metal trinkles? But I still feel guilty, and to this day I say sorry to God in my prayer. Here, what happens is, so after that, every incident had happened, she felt very bad to herself, but she was relieved, saying to herself, okay, by this instant, everything is over. It stopped by here. Never it is going to be continued. And she says, from that very day, she has never told a lie. She didn't tell any lies to anybody, and she has not stolen at all. She says, not even a single lie nor a single penny. That means not even a single rupee she has taken from anybody, and never she had told any lie. And also the coins what her father used to leave on the table or somewhere in the kitchen or in the room or whatever it is, whatever father used to leave also, she never used to take even to buy any snacks. If the parents bring any snacks, she used to have. Other than that, she never used to take any money from parents to buy even snacks also. And that from very incident, she stopped wearing jewelries, any jewelries that happens to. She's asking to herself, she started asking to herself that why should I get tempted to all this baubles? What is this baubles means? They are like artificial jewelries. Okay, why should I break my head for all this artificial jewelry and I spoil my character? Because I had such a good name, such a good character. Why should I spoil this character just for this few metal trickles? That means a few metallic, that is non what is that exactly to be stolen? That is artificial ones. Why should I spoil my character? And she says, in spite of everything, I feel guilty about what I have done. Even today, I ask sorry for that in my prayers. I'm asking, keep on asking sorry to God in my prayers for what I have done. So this is taken from the autobiography of Malala Yousafzai. Okay, Yousafzai. So she is a writer of her own story. And if you come to the details of her, Malala Yousafzai was born in the district of Swat in northwest Pakistan, where some local group are against education for girls. She had led many movements supporting the right to education to all children. In October 2012, she was shot while traveling home from school, but she continued to speak out on the importance of education. In 2014, she became the youngest person to receive a Nobel Peace Prize. Her autobiography, I Am Malala, was published in 2013. She says, I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is not, it is the story of many girls. So here, this is about a story of one of a girl from Pakistan. Okay, she has been in the right to education department, fighting for the education of the children and education of the girls. This usually happens in Pakistan, right? They don't what is it, they don't upload girls, isn't it? They don't provoke girls to get education, they don't give more importance to girls. Okay, there she was, she had taken education, and also she has fought for the right of education for children and girls. And here they say she was shot down on 2012 when she was coming from school. But her story, that is autobiography, was published in 2013, and she was being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. So here it says her story is, she says to the, in the story she says, it seems she doesn't tell the story because it is very much different, but it is a story of many girls, but which they do not express. Most of the girls, they won't express their guilty feelings. Whatever good had happened, they will tell it out, but something is very much guilty means they try to hide it up. But the same guilty feeling she has not hidden, she has told to the entire world. This has happened with me, this I am doing. If at all something happens with you, you correct yourself, she's trying to say. This was a wonderful story, and this is the end of chapter 8. Okay, we will meet in the next session, children, with the activities of chapter 8. Until then, have a good day, children. Bye.